that's what we're going to be breaking down today. So I'm going to be talking about purpose as it relates to business, like a business lens, a business focus. But I'm also going to be talking about purpose as it relates to the pieces of your life. So if you're brand new to me, my name is Susan McVeigh. I am a married mama of two and a business sales and wealth strategist. On this channel, we talk about all things business and entrepreneurship, which includes sales and money and faith and a little family thrown in the mix, because hashtag real life. So what is purpose? I don't know if Mehmet might be watching this at some point in the future. Maybe you're going to be on here live, but Mehmet had asked a question yesterday, and he asked, I think it was a he, but maybe it's a she. Mehmet had asked, what is purpose? Can you help me understand what purpose is? And so I had given a very brief and short answer yesterday, and I thought, you know what, this is a great question. And actually, one of the other subscribers, I can't remember your name now, Maddie Org, something like that. Gosh, I wish I could remember, had expanded and said this might be a good topic. And so I thought, that's a great idea. Let's do it. So when we answer the question, what is purpose? And especially if you have lots of different things that have happened in your life, I'm going to share through my own personal example how, for me, purpose kind of shows up, okay? In the hopes that it's going to help you to understand how to figure out your purpose. Now, the short answer, the question that I want you to answer that's related to purpose is, what is your reason for being here on earth? Like, why were you born? And I know that sometimes feels like a really big question to answer, because it feels like the reason that I was born needs to be some big noble pursuit. It needs to be like this massive, like, oh, why was I born? Why am I here? Right? And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially if you are a high achiever. And chances are, if you have stumbled upon this video, even if we've met for the first time, you are probably very ambitious, committed, or driven, and or you're seeking deeper meaning, aka this particular video, which is about purpose. Because if you're only here for your own passions or in pursuit of profits, which I'm a business owner, I'm all for profit, but we need to balance it off, right? And sometimes we feel like it is completely at odds. I have to choose purpose, I have to choose my passion, or I have to choose profits. And I'm here to tell you, you can do all three in one, but you need to understand that you are the filter that allows yourself to focus on, does it have to be one or the other? And that's a cognitive bias, all or nothing thinking. You can have space to do all of it, right? Like, you are resourceful enough that you can do that. So don't let other people say that when you pursue your purpose, and sometimes we think about this, I'll give you the example. Hello, the weekend, Merry Christmas. Hello, TTV de Dios. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. The weekend, we're talking about purpose. We're talking about purpose, okay? Which it should be in the description, but I honestly don't know how this shows up when it goes out to the feed. So it's purpose. And I'm specifically talking about it through the lens of business and entrepreneurship. And I'm going to give some examples, including my own, especially if you have done lots of different things in your life and you feel like how the heck are these even related? How do I even know if this actually is my purpose? Because sometimes people are very specific when they describe purpose, and mine is not specific. And my goal is that it's going to hopefully inspire you, but also empower you to make different decisions such that you can take different actions and hopefully live your best life, whatever that is for you. Does that make sense? I know that sounds a little bit airy-fairy, but having had clients live terrible lives and have lots of money and have, all sorts of stuff in between, my goal for you, whether we are in this capacity, stumbling together, or if we're working together as client and coach / consultant mentor, is that your life is improved as a result of your interaction with me. And because I'm not for everybody, if you don't want to listen to me, I bless and release you, because life is short and I want you to have as much joy as possible. So it is Christmas Eve, regardless of whether or not you celebrate, go and find someone that you want to hang out with. Because there's going to be somebody on here who's like, what the heck are you doing? Hello, is it Aina? Aina Asif? I am from Canada. Welcome, welcome. Robbie, the weekend being disrespectful. No, it's okay, right? It's okay. It's totally okay. I don't receive any disrespect. So I'm, people are trying to figure out and get some context. So I'm totally okay with that. Where is our gift? Your gift is inside of you. You are the gift. That is a great question, Aina. Aina, how do I pronounce your name? Because I don't, your name is very important. I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. Welcome. If Christmas is a time for miracles, then you're the miracle I want to celebrate every single day. That's beautiful. Is that from a song? Is that from you? Batuhan Oz. Hello, welcome. So, purpose answers the question, why are you here? Right? Meaning, I don't mean your location. I mean, why were you born? And sometimes, especially if you have ever faced any kind of trauma or, challenges, which, that basically describes everybody on the earth, right? Like everybody has either gone through big T or little t trauma. If you lived through 2020, you've gone through something, right? So sometimes the question of, why am I here? Why was I born? If you've had people that have made you feel like you are not important enough to be here, let me be the first to tell you, congratulations. Congratulations. You made it. You're still here. You're still here. And that tells me if you're still here and you're still fighting a good fight and you're still actually taking a breath every day and choosing to get out of bed, that there is still a bigger purpose and mission for you, my friend, that God has a job for you to fulfill. And your job is to figure out what that is. Your job is to basically like line up where you are and where your divine path is, because once you do, you're going to go like a rocket ship. You're going to be like a speeding bullet train and boom. How do I know? Because I've seen clients do it. And I have been able to do this in different domains. Okay. So your purpose, only you can answer that. Now, I believe that we all have a mission to fulfill. And here's what I want you to understand. If you are a parent, can you put 1 in the comment? If you are a parent, put 1. And if you are a child of someone, put 2. We're all children of someone, okay? Because here's the thing. Most parents want the best for their child. I know, having my 2 kids home for Christmas, that if my children did nothing else but be my child, I would still love them. I would love them unconditionally. I would be happy for them. But I also know that they have a reason for why they were put on the earth. And I can help shape and form, not shame, but a lot of us have been shamed into who we are and how we operate so that it makes it feel like we're doing something wrong. And I want you to know that the things that you naturally do, again, if they're good, meaning they are genuinely helpful to other people, they're not at the expense of someone else, including yourself. So they're not hurtful, they're helpful, even though they might not look nice, okay? Because nice is not the goal. That you were meant to fulfill something, right? And so can you go through life without ever fulfilling your purpose? Sure you could. There's plenty of people who do it, and you recognize them, right? Everybody knows someone who is not in their purpose because they are not fulfilled and they are not happy usually, but they don't even have peace. So this is not about external success, although it can manifest that way. And ultimately we want to match all of those dials together, because when you have purpose and then you have your passion, which is something that you're really excited about, that gives you life and joy, and then you have profit because you're actually being benefited, right? You're being paid handsomely for what it is that you do. And sometimes it's not even a matter of what you do, it's who you are. Like that's at the highest capacity, right? Then we have the trifecta. So I'm going to give you some examples. Merry Christmas, Jacob. You got a client. Yes. Amazing. Okay. You're a child, and Robbie, you're a child. So here's the thing, because our human parents, like even for me, I fail as a parent all the time. And that means that there are things that my kids go through that unfortunately are impacted and affected by the way that I parent, by the way that I deal with my own crap, right? And so I have to work on myself all the time. And then I apologize to my kiddos because if I get angry with them and my anger is misdirected, it's about me rather than them, that's going to impact whether or not they can pursue their purpose because they might not think that their purpose is important enough. Does that make sense? So, my purpose, and I figured this out when I was a child, my purpose is to help people. That might not sound very noble, like not super grandiose, because maybe you've heard somebody else. So let me know in the comments, do you know what your purpose is? And if you do, can you add it below if you feel comfortable? And if you don't know your purpose, put a number 3. And if you have heard somebody else describe their own purpose besides me that has inspired you, you can add it in the comments as well, because I think it's sometimes helpful to hear what other people's purpose is. That being said, the reason why I'm sharing mine is because it might sound a little blah. And I say that because I've had my whole, so for the record, I'm 49. Okay. So I've lived a lot of years. And I say that because sometimes people think that I'm younger than I am, but hello, gray roots. Okay. And the reason why I share that is because for a long time, I didn't think that my purpose was big enough or important enough because I heard other people talk about their purpose and it was like, I'm here to change the world and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I just want to help people. Like, I just want to serve people. And when I came upon that, I think I was maybe like between 5 and 7. I didn't know what that meant. I honestly did not know what that meant. It just was something that I knew deeply. And so all the jobs that I wanted to be as a kid were all things that would serve people. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to be an astronaut at some point. I wanted to also be an architect. Like there were so many things that I wanted to be. The ironic thing is now at this place in my life, I have been able to experience bits and pieces of those things that I use today in my job, in my vocation, in my career, in the work that I do. And so your purpose does not need to satisfy anybody else other than you. That's the whole point, because it's in French, and I'm going to butcher my pronunciation, so I apologize in advance, but it's your raison d'être. It's your reason for being, right? So and it manifests in different ways. And this is why sometimes we get confused. We're not sure, because if you look back through my life, I've done so many different things. Some things have failed, not very good at. Other things have just been little stepping stones on the way to the bigger thing. And now, just now, have I finally realized, oh, this is why this is all being put together for my life's work, okay? So when I was younger, I loved to learn. How did that serve people? Because I would use that information to help other people, okay? Still fulfilling my purpose, even when I was going to school as a child. So I'm connecting some dots for me because somebody on here is going to start getting, I think that might be clues for my purpose. Great, amazing. That's what I want you to be able to move through, okay? So even as a kid, I couldn't do very much, but I could help my parents while they were working at their store because they were entrepreneurs. They had a brick and mortar store. And so I started to learn things around the house. I took on a lot more chores. Now, some of this was dysfunctional, I will admit, but again, bear with me because I want you to remember the through line here is my purpose. So your through line is always going to be your purpose. It just might be demonstrated in different ways and different flavors and wear different clothing so that you might not be able to recognize it right away. So, and if you start to get ahas, can you put them below? Hello, James plays Roblox. My kids have played Roblox. Welcome. So my purpose to serve or help others. When I was a kid, I learned from school and I would help other people from what I was learning, even adults, okay? Then as I got into college, I kind of lost my way, I will be honest. which I think a lot of people do, or maybe you got clarified, great. But I wanted to be a doctor and I could not get into med school. And in that moment, I lost my way because I thought my purpose, because I forgot, because I didn't know that that was my purpose until later on, because I was looking for a more noble pursuit than just I'm here to help others. It seems so blah, right? Can you say hello, Sammy? Hello, Sammy. Sigma. I am from Canada. I'm here in Vancouver/Victoria. So, where are you from, Sammy? Or is it James? Because now I'm confused by your handle and the name that you're asking for. So, I did not realize that my purpose was my purpose as a kid. I understood it, but I didn't know what the word purpose was, right? And so I just knew I want to help people. So when I lost sight of the fact that I was no longer going to be able to be a doctor, I felt a little lost because I thought my purpose was to be a doctor. Your job is just what you do. Your job is just what you do. It is not who you are. And it is not ultimately what your purpose is. Your purpose moves through the things that you do and moves through the seasons of your life. It's which is why it may manifest differently in different points of your life, in your career, in your business, in the work that you do. Does this make sense? Right? Robbie, some people being disrespectful and it's the fact that you are nice. I feel the positive energy from you. God bless you. God bless you. You know what? They can only be disrespectful to themselves because I don't know what they're doing and I don't operate in a spirit of confusion. So because of that, I always see what I want to see, which is love and grace. And I hope that because they don't keep going, God just removes them, which I am totally fine with. Which is why I always say, like, I bless you and I release you. And I hope that even if for a moment you feel the peace of God, the love of Christ, because I am here to say hi to you, and maybe this is just how you get your thrills, that you felt something different. That's because that's what God told me yesterday. He said, you don't need to worry about the trolls because I will handle them, but I don't need to, ban them or remove them. People have removed their comments and I didn't understand why. It just says message redacted. And I thought, oh, that's odd. I mean, the comments are fine because remember, my purpose, I'm telling you, is to help you, to serve you. And so that's what I'm here for. And I know that even if you're being disrespectful, even if you come with bad intentions, they're being turned around because that is the gift that God gives me. And I don't say that to brag because it is not me that does it. It's God that does it through me because I am willing to be used as a vessel. I hope that makes sense. And that was for somebody else. Maybe that was for Robbie, right? Because I think sometimes we get afraid that you have ultimate power because you are on the right side, right? Who is on God's side? If it's you, why are you not standing up? So, and not from a place of I'm here to bash anybody else, because God is love. God loves all of us. And hopefully by me sharing openly and honestly the things that I go through, your life is going to be improved. And if it's not improved, then why are you watching me? Go and find somebody else. Because there might be somebody else that's a better fit. Go for it. So when I thought I lost my purpose because I thought my purpose was to be a doctor, I felt hopeless. Your purpose should always give you hope. Your purpose should always get you out of bed and make you feel more alive and more like you. So what is that thing that, and again, remove all the shell of what it looks like. At the core of it, what would you describe that to be? Mine is to help people. Mine is to serve somebody, right? And so what does that look like? Well, in my marriage, it looks like I'm a good wife. It looks like I do things for my husband that he doesn't even realize that I do until he has to do them. And then he's like, oh, how do you do this? Because I always do it. And I do it without him ever needing to think about it or even know about it, because that helps me fulfill my purpose. Does that make sense? When I do things for my children, same thing. When I had done things in my corporate career that made things so simple and easy and faster for my teams, for my clients, for the locations that I like operated and built to like multiple millions. Was that inside of the job title and the job description? No. But it was because I couldn't not do it, because it was who I am. It's why I'm here. Does this make sense? So don't get stuck in thinking that your purpose is connected to a job or a singular business, a singular client, a type of work that you do. It is not. It can be connected because that is likely how you demonstrate your purpose, but it is not the purpose for you. Because otherwise you would not be in purpose until you got the job that you have. And that's not true. Because every single person, if you are a child, which a lot of you wrote, yeah, I'm a child, number 2, right? You're a child of somebody, you've already fulfilled a purpose simply by being here, simply by being born, because otherwise you wouldn't have been born. It is a miraculous fact of nature. It's like 1 in 4 trillion, the odds of you being born. Like, I want you to just grasp, you are a walking, talking, breathing miracle. The fact that that sperm, that egg went on the day that you were born, like conceived, is a miracle. So there was a lot of like things that needed to happen, right? That is more rare than being hit by lightning twice. That is more rare than, I think, like winning the lottery like 3 or 4 times. So that's how rare you are. There's only one of you. The fact that you were even here and you're here right now with me today is again another miracle, because I don't know who you are. You might not even know who I am. Maybe we've met for the first time, and if that's the case, you can write 4 in the comments and welcome. Hello. But when you recognize that, you don't suddenly grow into purpose. You have purpose the minute that you were born. It's our job then as parents, if you are a parent, or you will be a parent, to help to steward and shape and ensure that those children, our future generations, fulfill their purpose and they don't get taken off path. Because when they are taken off path, life becomes hard, because it's not what you were born to do. It's not what you were born for. It's not who you are. Does this make sense? So, in my 20s, lost my way, right? And then I was brought back, and I wouldn't have used the words purpose at the time. It gave life meaning. Okay, so maybe that's an easier way for you to describe for yourself. What allows you to feel the most you? What allows you to feel the most joy? What gives you peace of mind? What allows you to have clarity and focus? What are the activities or the places, the people, the things that you're doing that give you a sense of confidence and competence? And again, it could be wrapped in jobs. When I was in corporate, I still help people, but I was a teller, I was a financial advisor, I was a certified financial planner, I was a sales leader. I did lots of things inside of that wrapper. The common through line in every single role that I ever had, no matter who was the end output, I helped them. I was serving them. When I worked for my parents in their store, I was helping them. When I was an English tutor, helping. When I edited PhD student thesi, is that like plural? Serving, helping. When I was a gymnastics coach, working with an autistic child, who is, mind you, almost bigger than me, helping and serving, right? The things that we go through are gifts. They are seasons that are allowing us to fully step into the unique gift that you are. Because all of these different facets that you go through are like different planes of a diamond. And if you've ever looked at a round diamond, sorry, my pronunciation is a little wonky right now. There's different facets, right? A diamond cutter needs to cut away a raw stone in order to bring out the sparkle. That's what I want you to think about for yourself, is that every experience that you've had, even the painful ones, have shaped your purpose, and the lens through which you see life is your purpose. But the things that you've experienced are the areas on your diamond that make you shine, even the bad stuff. So I have learned about health through my own personal journey. Am I certified or anything like? No, not at all. But the stuff that I've had to learn in order to know how I operate has helped me greatly. It has transformed my life, right? My faith, my belief in God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, but also not just on paper, not just like reading the Bible, because I did that when I was little, but my actual relationship with my maker, with my creator, and knowing without a shadow of a doubt how faith works for me is now influencing my family and my clients in a bigger capacity. My business and sales experience that I learned is through the lens of a non-traditional salesperson, which means that it's through the lens of service and it's not selling the way that like a commissioned, like Grant Cardone, go, go, go. All power to anybody who wants to follow him. He is just not my thing. He knows what he's doing, but my lens is different because of my experience, okay? And then because I learned sales in the world of finance, I have finance and wealth. Okay, so there's 4 unique facets, and I could go into like competitive sports because I was a competitive gymnast, music because I've played music my entire life, like all these different pieces. But these are the 4 main domains that right now are being pulled together that my purpose now gets to explode out of. Does this make sense? So the reason why I share that is because somebody on here needs to know all the things, because God works all things for the good of us, because we love him and because we're called according to his purpose. So our purpose is connected to a bigger divine purpose. And if you believe that's true, because you don't have to, then you also have to believe that everything that you're going through or have gone through is part of that divine purpose. And right now, chances are, if you're watching this, you're ready to start moving through into an expression of one version of that purpose. It might not be the full expression yet. I don't know where you are in your journey and in your path, but I guarantee that if you're watching this right now, that there is a turning point, that there is a rebirth of sorts, that there is a moment where you're being called to a higher level of who you have been and who you are going to be. And that decision happens in a moment. It's not something that you have to wait for. It's not something that like, here's the crown, you just take it. You decide to take that and you crown yourself and say, I'm the queen, I'm the king of blank, whatever it is. But I know that because of what I've just described to you, nobody else in this world out of 8 billion plus people have ever experienced what I have experienced, even my sisters, right? Even my children, even my husband, even though we've spent 26 years together. We are completely different people with completely different perspectives and experiences and a different purpose for why we're here on the earth. They can be very similar, but they're not exactly the same. And the expression of that has to be different because we are different and because what we've experienced in our lives has influenced and colored and shaped, it shapes the diamond that we are, your unique brilliance, right? And so a diamond, how it's cut will influence how the light passes through. And as a result, if you can remember that, then every cut, even though it feels painful, because remember, we're cutting a diamond, every cut is to take something away. And that might be painful. It might feel like, why? Why is that like, but the point is that without that removed, the diamond is not shaped as brilliantly as it can be. And the diamond doesn't get to sparkle as brilliantly as it should because the light doesn't get to enter into the center. Wow, this was a whole revelation. Thank you, Jesus. Make sense? Salmon, thank you for your kind words. I'm sure my husband would agree. Gigi says, hi, my purpose is to enjoy being here. Amazing, right? Because Sometimes people think that you getting joy out of life is not enough. Says who? Because when you give yourself permission to actually step into that and you invite people along for the ride, I'm going to tell you there are a lot of people who want to do that, who want to enjoy their time on earth, and they're not, right? And so automatically that would call to people who are looking for more joy, more fulfillment, more peace. They're going to ask, how do I do that? Can you teach me? Right? So the clues are, what are people asking you? And the reason why I say this is because people would ask me stuff in all four of those domains. What do I do about my health? What do I do about my money? Like, how do I get clients? How do you talk to God? What do you see? Even clients who didn't always fully understand what was going on, when I would stop and pause and be listening and hearing a message, gaining some revelation or wisdom that came from outside of me, inside of me, but outside of me. And so when you look at these little clues, they will all point back to you. And it's sometimes very difficult, almost always difficult, to read the label of the bottle from the inside. And that's why it's helpful when you're doing things like this to get outside perspective, to get help and support. Now, it is very important that you get the right help and support, because if people can't see you because they see you as you were, they're never going to be able to see you as who you are right now and who you are becoming, which I don't really like that word because I feel like it puts it off into the future. It's who you are being, truly being. When you strip away like that diamond, you cut away all the layers of all the gunk and all the raw stone and all the rough stuff that other people are trying to have you hide behind, right? Because there's always a diamond in the rough. But if you just took that rough rock, to the naked eye, it doesn't look very pretty. It doesn't look very valuable. It doesn't really look very spectacular because it's not very brilliant. Like, it literally is not cut to the point where light could shine and bounce through it. And so that you can, the magnification of the sparkling. So sometimes you're asking the wrong people the wrong questions, which Tony Robbins says, the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions that we ask. But I put a caveat. You have to ask the right questions to the right people to get the right answers. And if you're asking the wrong people, you're automatically going to get answers that are of no use or benefit to you. It's like asking market research to people who you don't want to work with. You're going to get a lot of data, but how useful is that data going to be? It's going to take you off path. And you're going to just go through the motions of saying, well, I did what I was required to do, which was I asked a lot of people a lot of questions about my market, about my product, about my service, about my price. And then you're wondering why you're still stuck and why people are not going to buy from you because you asked the wrong people. And it feels safe to do that. It feels safe to be able to say, I did it, but you know that you didn't do the deep work. You didn't actually ask the people who mattered, because if you had done that, it would have been scarier. It would have been more difficult. It would have stretched you. It would have made you more nervous. There was some fear or like resistance, and you would have had to push a little bit further in order to actually step out of the comfort zone and ask the people that mattered more to you, simply because those are the ones that you are called to serve. It is always uncomfortable to step out and to fulfill your true purpose to the people that you are actually called to serve. It is always uncomfortable. And I talked about this over on Instagram, you are the answer to somebody's prayer. Your purpose is the answer to what somebody is praying for. And sometimes we don't think that it is good enough or big enough or enough. And here we are asking for the very things that are probably very simple. Right? Like, most of the time we're praying for things, and we're not praying for like, I want 100 bajillion, rubies. Insert your thing of choice. That was just being ridiculous. We're usually asking for simple things, but that feel hard in the moment. But a lot of times those answers can come by way of another human being. In fact, 99% of the time, God is going to use a human being on earth because we are the inhabitants of this earth in order to do the work that is divinely fueled and powered. And so that means that you are the answer to somebody's question, aka prayer, and that your purpose can be fulfilled in answering the call to somebody's question or prayer. Does this make sense? Okay? I hope that's helpful. If there's any questions, add them in the comments below. Was there another thing that I wanted to share on this? Oh, vision workshop. I am going to leave it open at $33, the replay, until at least January 1st, probably January 2nd, for the holiday season. Okay? So it will go up to $97 and it will not have the bonus attached to it when it changes in price. In case you're wondering why, because I can, because that's the great part about owning your own business is you can make your own decisions and I don't need to check with anybody. Well, except for God. But when you fulfill your purpose, you change lives. And that's what me doing that vision workshop did. And I know that whatever it is that you're called to do in fulfillment of your purpose, like Jacob was on here. I don't know if Jacob is still on here because it's getting late and it's Christmas Eve for him, probably celebrating with his family. Is his business his purpose? I don't know. But I'm going to say that his purpose is being fulfilled through his business. His purpose is being fulfilled through his business because that is what he is in pursuit of. Now, he's only 15, right? So sometimes we think it's too late or we're too young. Neither of those is true. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The best time to become a millionaire was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And so don't put off until tomorrow the thing that you can actively choose to do today. If I had decided that I didn't have enough time to run this workshop, it was bumping up against the holidays. Gigi was there as well. I don't know if Gigi is still on here, but when I did that, I didn't know why I was doing it, but I knew that it would help somebody. I knew that it would serve someone. But at the same time, I felt like it wasn't going to be worth it if I didn't have an X amount of people because it was coming up on the holidays and because I hadn't prepared for it and I needed to put in this work and this time and this effort. Of course I do. Just like, of course you do, because that is life, right? There's very few things in life that it just magically appears out of thin air without any sort of work or effort involved. And yet I knew that I needed to do this. I just didn't know why. I felt this urgency and this internal pull that kept moving me forward. So the creation of it happened very, very quickly, right? And that's not to say that I didn't second guess myself because I'm a human being. And so there were times where I thought, is this even like, I got the one that wanted to go, should I even keep going? And every time I got on here, even if somebody did not join the workshop in that moment, they still got something from the topic that I was talking about. And so I was still fulfilling my purpose. I was still fulfilling my divine destiny with faith and hope and knowing that the people who need me the most, the people, whether it's an individual or a company, would reach out and say, you know what, Susan, like, how do we work together? Great, because that's ultimately, I know that there's people who need more, right? And so I am here as a light to be a beacon, like a lighthouse, to say, here I am. Because if you don't know who I am, if you don't know anything about me, then how in the world can you find me? And so I have to do that first part, right? And so it doesn't matter if my purpose is to help people and I just sit in my house all day, which I do, but I never actually leave and do something like this to put myself in a position where I can help more people. Because if my goal, my purpose in life is to help people, then I can't reach all the people that I have the vision for if all I do is what's comfortable. And as an introvert, it's comfortable for me to be by myself, all by myself and think and strategize and come up with plans and then just do the work. Doing this is, and some of you may not believe me, it's difficult. It takes me a bit, right? When I'm on here, because I'm in my purpose and I'm in my flow and I'm communing with you and with God, first of all, that lights me up, which is sometimes, if you were on yesterday, like this is the same light. There was a light beam and I couldn't move my my tripod. I tried to change the angle and it was still like this light, just the starburst kept coming in. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. Because obviously that light needed to shine the way that it was. It was late in the evening. It was after the sun had set. That was the only light source in the room. So I could not have it on. So if I had not done that vision workshop as part of the expression of my purpose, somebody on there would not have had their life transformed. She literally sent me a message this morning and said, my life is changed forever. And I cried. Not because I was sad, but because I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by the goodness of God, but I was overwhelmed that my yes, what is your yes attached to? Right? That yes that I said, that seems so small and humble and simple, that was the very thing that she needed. Now, I know that she would have gotten the answer regardless, because when we ask, when we seek, when we find, when we keep knocking at the door will eventually be opened. But she was able to recognize the opportunity, that answer when it came, and she moved quickly. And that's the thing, is that sometimes when we are in our purpose, or we find somebody that is a destiny helper that is designed to help us to pursue our purpose, so that that purpose now is aligned to our passions and our profits, so that they come together and all of a sudden it goes boom, that you're too scared to take hold of the opportunity because you're stuck in the old and you can't move in to the new. Okay? If that describes you, I want you to go and watch this one's going to be on Instagram. It's an Instagram video that's called A New Vision for a New Era. A new era requires new vision. Go and find that video on my Instagram channel. You'll see it. It's the same at Susan McVeigh handle, and you'll find that video. You might have to scroll back, and if you can't find it, then just message me on Instagram and I will link it up for you. Okay? Gigi says, it was great. Thanks for doing it. It came at the right time for me, as I'm on my second best time. Amazing. Right? And I always say I think I've lost count how many acts I'm on. I'm at least on my third or fourth act in terms of like my life path. And lest you think that life is all sunshine and roses, it's not. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to share a testimonial about what it's like to have a full circle moment with something that is probably the scariest thing that I've ever encountered as a mom, because it's related to life and it's related to death, and it's very apropos as we celebrate, the birth of our Savior. And I say our Savior because regardless of whether or not you believe, Jesus died for all of us, and he died for you, and he loves you, and I love you, and I'm on here to show you that regardless of what it is that you desire, whatever it is that you think your purpose is, even if you think that, like I did, it's nothing, it's like no big deal. The fact is that it can change lives. It transforms people. And you don't have to have a business to create transformation. But there is a very high likelihood that if you have found me, that if you don't already have a business, that you are meant to have a business. Literally, Jacob was on here. I don't know if Jacob's still on here, but Jacob met me on YouTube. You can go back and look at the comments, and he tried to pitch me, and I said no, but I encouraged him, and I broke down his pitch and gave him some suggestions, messaged me, and then he got a client, he's gotten another client. Like, that's how simple it can be, right? And he used my free content. So if right now your excuse is, I don't have the resources, I don't have somebody to help me, hello, that's why I'm here. Go and consume. You can just go through all of my content. It's here for you. Go and binge listen to my podcast, Master the Sales Game. There's 160, I think, 3 episodes. Go and listen to it. It will help you, right? And then if you're still stuck, come on these videos, ask for help, ask a question, be thoughtful, because if you ask, again, quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. If you're going to ask questions that are not very clear, then you're not going to get very clear answers that are not going to be helpful for you, right? So Jesus says, yes, I want to hear about it. The earth is flat. I don't know if you're reading the right facts, Avatar. Fact, Avatar. Gigi will be back tomorrow, probably midday-ish. We'll see. We are celebrating Christmas dinner tonight, doing European style rather than Christmas Day. So we do have a little bit more leeway, but I have teenagers, and so it's going to depend on when they decide to get up and gift giving and all that sort of thing. So I bless all of you, that you would have a happy and prosperous end of the year and the new year. I know I'm still going to be on here live every day, but for some reason, I just feel really led to share that with you. I pray that you would have the light of Christ shine upon any area of darkness in your life, that any area that you feel is without hope, without faith, without love, that you would be encouraged today, and that you would be able to understand that God created you too, and that you are on this earth for a purpose that only you can fulfill. And that even if you think that your purpose is too small to change lives, that you are already changing somebody's life, and that starts with you. And that I see you, I hope the very best for you, and I pray that tonight you would be able to see the world in a different, more beautiful way. In Jesus' name, amen. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.